What is up, everyone, and welcome back to Across the Board, sponsored by MoneyBall Metrics. You have your normal Thursday hosts, myself and JD from Line Movers, and we have our guy, Hefe Picks, friend of the program, is back on yet again to deliver the winners. Hefe, over to you. How are you today, my friend?
Doing good, guys. Doing good. I don't know if I've ever been on a Thursday before. I'm usually a Tuesday type of guy, so I'm honored to do a little Thursday action. And from what I've heard, the slate that we are going over today is, in the words of Martin Scorsese, pure cinema.
It is pure cinema. JD, how are you today, brother?
Doing great, man. And today's slate, we finally have one of those like really good ones. Like I feel like the past 2 weeks, it's just been shows where we've had a few games, but we've just been trying to fill it with a lot of talking and but I feel like today is actually like bam, we have a full slate of games here.
Yep. So JD, we can let it known early what we're doing today. We are covering the college football playoff first round as well as Thursday night football, guys. So today is a full football show. We're going over every single one of the opening round games in the college football playoff. And like I said, the Thursday night football game. So we are excited to get into the slate. As JD said, it's been quite a while since we've had a good slate of games to go over like this. So we're super excited. Over to the comments. Joe is here per usual. Great day to cash some tickets. Joe, love the energy today. I agree with you. Let's win some money today, brother. J-Bo is here as well. Good morning, bro. Let's win. Hell yeah. Great energy today. And Footy, keep that negative energy out of here saying, oh, great, Hefe is here. We know the Dayton play from the other day did not exactly go as planned, but the leg that you provided for the team was a minus 10,000. So good hit there, but not going to blame Hefe for that one. Fellas, before we get into the breakdown of the college football playoff, we have to do what we always do and recap how we did yesterday. I will go first. I swept the board. I ended up doing a parlay yesterday in the two college football games, and we were able to win that. It was a good night for the Alpha Dog team. JD, how'd you do yesterday?
Good, man. We came on here yesterday, said to bet one play, and that was UNLV. They got the job done. I will say Cal played better than I thought they would.
Agreed.
They actually did not look that like that. But then the other plays, I gave out actually like San Fran. I ended up jumping on that at actually +2. So that one pushed. And then it was the Oklahoma play. Jumped on that at I believe it was 4.5, but it did not matter because they won outright.
Great read there. You called that from the beginning. You said, I don't understand the line. I do think Oklahoma is the better team. You nailed that. Great read there. Hefe, how was your day yesterday?
I was on UNLV earlier in the week. I got a little nervous. I caught them, I believe, I think I even got them on a money line, like a juiced up money line before the Cal quarterback got ruled out. Way closer than it should have been in the first half. I'd say the second half was so boring I fell asleep.
Yeah, going to be honest here.
It was an absolute punt fest.
I'm going to be honest here. I did not watch the fourth quarter of that game either. It was absolutely a snoozer. Kind of had a feeling we had it in the bag. So for me, I'm in the same boat. Did not watch the end of that game, but I'm happy we all got the result we needed in that game. Footy, is this true? You're going to be live at State College at the Penn State SMU game? If that's true, that is freaking awesome, man. I hope you enjoy. I know you are a Penn State alum from 1967, so it's been a long time that you've been wanting to go to these playoffs, so congratulations. Enjoy every moment. One day, Rutgers is going to be there, and it is going to be the sweetest in the world. Let's keep it moving, boys. Let's start going over what we do in the show. You guys ready to get into the college football playoff?
Let's do it.
Let's do it, boys. First one we're starting with is going to be the Friday night showdown between the Indiana Hoosiers and Notre Dame Fighting Irish. Indiana, we all know the story about them, 11-1 on the year, going up against Notre Dame, who's also 11-1 on the year. JD, we're going to start with you. Do you like Rourke, the quarterback of Indiana? He's done a good job this year. He has 27 touchdowns to only 4 interceptions. Excuse me. Or are you backing Riley Leonard, the quarterback who's a transfer at Notre Dame, who's had an okay year? I expected him to kind of be a little bit better, to be honest. But he does have 16 touchdowns on the year to only 5 interceptions. Like I said, JD, what do you like about this one?
I am a Rourke fan. During this whole season, he's probably made me more than actually probably anybody else has. You know what? In this game here, though, I really wanted to make a case to actually back him, and I really cannot do it. start off here. Looks like we're going to see some snow tomorrow during the day, but then it is supposed to clear up. It's going to be very cold, though. Very cold. And as far as Rourke and this team this season, they looked absolutely great, unless they played a top team. And that actually OSU game to me, what got me there was they didn't change anything the entire game. They stuck with the same game plan. And football, as we all know, is whatever coach can, make those little changes here and there. That's who normally does well. And so seeing that game went the way it was, that really scares me. And that's why I just cannot get on that side. And this game also comes down to the actual Indiana defense, the actual rush, the Indiana run defense here. They don't show up. This game's not going to be close. This is going to be a blowout. For me, this is one of those games. It really looks like a chalky slate here. It really does. This game, I haven't done anything with it yet. It's either going to be a parlay piece, or I'm also I need to look at it a little bit further, but it may be a Notre Dame team total over here. I believe it's 30.5 currently, which is pretty key. So I'm definitely going to look into that one more. But that's how I'll play it here.
Respect that. For me, I'm on a little bit different of a wavelength here. I am all over Indiana plus the 7.5. I just don't think they're going to lose by more than a touchdown to this Notre Dame team. I know Notre Dame, they look like they're a great team. Their scores reflect that they've been a great team, but they haven't really played anybody. I mean, their toughest game was probably Texas A&M, who was the first week of the year. They did win 23-13. It was at Texas A&M, but that game was back in August. Let's go over the schedule that Notre Dame has played this year. They beat Purdue. Congratulations. They were the worst team in the Big Ten by far. They beat Miami of Ohio. They beat Louisville, who ended up not having a great year. They beat Stanford, who was not great. They beat Georgia Tech, who was okay. They beat Navy, who's still a service academy. They beat Florida State, who I don't need to explain anything about Florida State. They beat Virginia. That's a basketball school. They beat USC. USC was terrible this year. And they beat Army, another service academy. So I do think Indiana has played tough enough opponents that they will be able to adjust in this game and be able to play a very good game as well. Coach Signetti, I think, is a fantastic coach. This is his first year with Indiana. He did come over from James Madison. His record all time is 130-20. This guy is unbelievable at winning football games, and I think they will get Indiana up enough to compete in this game. I'm not saying Indiana's going to win. They may win. I think they have a shot. I definitely don't think they will lose by more than a touchdown, though. So give me Indiana at plus 7.5. Love this play. I'll let it out early. It will be on my best bets board. Hefe, what you got?
I'm rolling with JD on this one. I think this has more of a chance to be a blowout than a close game. This line opened at 8.5. You can even get it at 7 right now. At places like ESPN Bet and minus 115 odds. And so I'm thinking, why? Why is that? Why is this number going down? It's because of that public betting factor. The closer you get to this game, right, the more the public money starts coming in. I don't have time to explain, when lines first open, that's when you get your sharp action. As you get closer to the game, this game's tomorrow night. The masses are now pumped up for tomorrow night and obviously what's being called the greatest football day of the year on Saturday. So the numbers are going to skew where the public's looking at, right? Indiana's such a public team. You got the rah coach. You got the great story. They weren't supposed to be here. 11-1. Throw all that shit out the window, all right? Notre Dame is the better coach team here. Notre Dame is the better team in general. With that all being said, my official play for this game will be determined later during best bets. I want to keep that a little tight-knit secret, but this is going to be a big part of my best bet, something in this game. But in terms of how the game will go, I think it's more likely that Notre Dame runs them out the building than Indiana wins this one at a close game. I also think not a lot of people are giving Riley Leonard a lot of dues. He played a pretty solid year, and Mark Freeman is one hell of a coach.
I
He
agree
gets
with
the
Freeman.
absolute most out of his players. And I know you could say the same thing about Signetti. Absolutely. But Notre Dame's players are better than Indiana's.
I would agree to that. The talent level is going to be greater on Notre Dame. Coach Marcus Freeman, I think that he will soon go to the NFL. I think he has a very bright future as one
More
of the
likely he
best.
goes to Iowa State, in my opinion. That's my opinion.
We'll see. We'll see. I do think he'll make a move soon, but I do think he is going to be a factor in the coaching world for the foreseeable future. I did want to bring it up, and JD, you may have different numbers than me because we pulled this from different sources, but on this game, I have 51% of tickets are on Indiana, 49% on Notre Dame, and a dead even split of 50% money share on both teams. Do you have any data on that, JD, before we move to the next game?
Yeah, this is actually the same thing for actually me here. This is one of those games where you really don't see this very much, where it's
Dead
actually
even.
split.
Yep.
So yeah, this is a very interesting game. This is one of those games where you may see some of that sharp action coming in at the very last second here.
I agree. I definitely agree.
So yeah.
And I'll keep this open here so we can go over the public betting percentages. I think a lot of you guys do enjoy getting those numbers. So I will keep that open, and we will go over what I have on those numbers. Yet again, everyone seems to have different numbers when you get public betting percentages. I personally like to use the Action app. I do have the paid premium version, which does give you the full breakdown. So the numbers I'm giving you guys are going to be directly the Action numbers for that. Hefe, before we get on, crispy breakdown. Well done, sir. Let's keep it moving, fellas, to the next game we're going to be breaking down, which is going to be SMU taking on Footy and Penn State. SMU is coming into this game 11-2 on the year, going up against Penn State, who is also 11-2 on the year. Hefe, JD, how many times do we say that this year? They have to stop putting noon games at Penn State. Penn State is in the middle of nowhere in Pennsylvania. Unless you're a student there, to get there and attend this game, roughly 2 hours from any major area where people are going to be. There's also not a lot of hotels in State College. So I hate when they do it this early because the fans really can't go and tailgate and be in full Penn State craziness mode.
Yeah.
But they are home, so it is a big game. You don't believe in that? I think that's
tell
awesome.
TNT that, man. Tell TNT to flip. What's the next game they got? Clemson, Texas versus SMU, Penn State. You must be out of your freaking mind.
I know. Well,
all right.
Thing all year.
So let me tell you, what do you mean you always talk about? I'm a big believer in money's behind all these decisions. All right.
Absolutely.
These networks paid millions and millions of dollars. It is set up so that SMU, Penn State goes against Chiefs, Texans, because they know they're going to split those viewers. But then when you got Clemson and Texas, which actually might outview a Ravens Steelers, that's why they set it up like that. Those are Clemson, Texas fan bases. That game's going to go nuts.
It's been the big noon kickoff all year.
Yeah.
And a lot of the Big Ten teams have hated that, especially, Penn State's the one outlier. They're literally in the middle of nowhere, and there's no hotels in the area to get there.
Happy Valley.
It takes hours and from anywhere to get there. Pennsylvania's a huge state, so I hate when they do it that early. But over to this game. Hefe, what do you like in this one?
All right, this is, man, I've been going back and forth with this one. I've been going so back and forth. I have it ingrained in my head that James Franklin will never and can never win a big game. Like I feel like I have it tattooed on me. But Penn State's a good team. I mean, they made it here for a reason. They play well on both sides. They're great in the trenches. A couple weeks ago, we were on the show. We were such big SMU backers. I forgot who they were playing. It's going to drive me crazy. But we gave out all the different stats about SMU. One of the best defenses in the nation, top 5 in blitzes, tackle for losses, in total defense. Your mic is muted. What's up?
Probably the Clemson game. It was the Clemson game we were talking about.
Yes. And I made a statement during that show that I think still reigns true. Their style of defensive play bodes very well for this time of year.
Yeah.
They are fantastic at run stopping. They are really good on the defensive line. And even though their quarterback hasn't played too well in that Clemson game, I'm not going to blame the game on him. I'm taking SMU +9 here. I see it at +9 on DraftKings right now. I think they could keep it close because I think the name of the game for Penn State is to not put up points. It's to just break down that running game as much as they possibly can. That clock's going to be ticking. And when SMU has the ball, they are going to do whatever it takes to do slow, methodical drives. They know the team that wins the possession battle in this game more than likely wins this game. I'm going to take SMU +9. It's not one of my best bets. I'm going to say that right now. I don't believe in Penn State. I think they'll win, but SMU +9.
It's very hard to believe in Penn State. It's very, very hard to believe in Penn State. JD, what do you think about this game?
Well, for me, both of these teams are kind of tough.
Yeah, it's just a tough game.
Really back here. I will say, just like the last game, it's going to be really freaking cold, guys. Actually, like kickoff here looks like it's going to be around like 25.
Yep.
And it's not really gonna warm up.
No.
So as far as this this SMU team, they're not used to that.
What? You mean it doesn't get cold over in Southern Methodist University?
It sure doesn't.
And and we got the weather report from Weatherman Footy.
Yeah.
25 and snowing.
Is it really? Oh, if it's snowing, that changes a lot.
That's exactly what it is.
Yeah, for like me, that's like actually like as far as the SMU side, I just don't trust them actually like in the spot whatsoever here.
I feel the same.
This is a Penn State or either pass. I will go ahead and say this is another game that I don't have a play on yet. But actually like as far as actually like a money line piece, this one may be a good spot.
Yeah, I looked at a parlay for this game as well, but with the weather and everything going into this game and the game styles for this game, I'm taking the under 54. It's actually at 53.5 on FanDuel. That's the number I have on my best bet sheet. So letting that out early as well. I do love the under in this game. I think everything you guys said about the SMU defense is accurate, that they do match up well in this type of game, and I do think we're going to see a lot of running the ball on both sides of the ball. Footy also put it in the chat that Nick Singleton is going to run wild. I think they will do a healthy dose of giving Nick Singleton the ball, and I think both teams will heavily rely on the rushing attack here. I think they're going to try and limit mistakes, limit turnovers, and when you take a look at SMU's offense, their rushing attack really is what gets them going. Smith, their running back, had 217 carries on the year, but he had 1,270 yards and 14 rushing touchdowns. That's a lot of rushing touchdowns compared to Nick Singleton on the other side, who only had 7 rushing touchdowns on the year. So my official play is definitely going to be the under 53.5. I think this one goes comfortably under with all that's going on to the game, the weather, the magnitude of this game. And that's another thing I wanted to talk about when breaking down these games. And I wanted to ask you guys what you think. Do you guys like to play overs in the college football playoff or in any game that has a magnitude of this kind of importance? Would you play an over? Because for me, any game that's of this level in a college football playoff, I'm never going to take an over. I'm always more inclined to take an under and think it's going to be a cautious game. They're not going to try and maybe throw the ball as deep down the field to limit some turnovers and probably play some fundamental football and run the ball more than they're used to. JD, what do you think about that?
Well, as far as how like most people think, actually like just actually like you there. So you're going to see totals in these games lower. So what I try to do is not necessarily play actually unders, because like I said, those like totals, they're actually like already down lower than they really are supposed to be, you know?
Yep.
So what I do is I don't, as far as overs, I actually really don't play very actually many of them, but I do try to target those like spots where the market has brought that number down a little bit too much.
That totally makes a lot of sense to me. Hefe, what are your thoughts on that?
I just pulled the layer. I just pulled the alpha. Yep. My bad. It's an elimination game. You're obviously going to be more cautious. You don't want to be the team that makes the mistake. But if it's snowing, let's not pretend like you can't make a mistake in the rushing game.
Absolutely.
I mean, like, mistakes going to happen either way. At some point, depending on how the game goes, somebody's going to have to let it rip. And if it works, then you could see a whole lot of RPO action. You could see a whole lot of playbook opening up. I don't see how – I see SMU maybe playing from behind. The reason I'm taking SMU here is really simple. It says backdoor cover written all over it. This says Penn State up 14, 15, whatever. And it's bad out. They're just running the ball. They're just playing against the clock, not even against SMU. SMU gets the ball, and they're passing because they're trying to catch up. Ends up losing by 7, 8, something like that. Penn State's a better team. Just like we were talking about Notre Dame and in Indiana, this is not a conversation of wisdom or talent. This is not even close.
Absolutely.
And I think you're going to see this a lot in this first iteration of this playoff, college football playoff, where it's not like the NCAA playoffs where, you have a freaking unknown 16 seed versus a 1 where, they're not even supposed to be on the same court. These are great teams, but just one is a little bit more in a different echelon than SMU.
It's every game, though. You're right.
Yeah.
It's every game in the first round.
Well,
the smallest favorite is 7.5 points.
I know.
Every
I know,
game
but
is more than a 7.5.
I think these next two, I can't say the talent on the field is different that
Really?
much. The
Really?
Definitely not the next one. Definitely.
Well, we'll go over it. One more question I wanted to ask you guys, and I know I'm sorry I'm taking a lot of time with the Penn State game, but do you guys think that Drew Aller announcing he is returning for another year, does that do anything for this Penn State team? Do you think they come out and play harder? Do you think that they now have some peace of mind knowing that Bo Prabula has already transferred? He's not going to be the quarterback next year. You have a potential NFL caliber quarterback coming back, and maybe you take a little bit more risk because you know he's coming back. I don't personally take a lot into that, but wanted to know if you guys took anything into that. JD, first with you.
I mean, nothing huge, but the fact that he is coming back, I mean, like, that's going to make everybody, it's just going to have, like, just as far as the vibes, like,
yeah, that's what I mean. The vibes. Yeah.
So I mean, like, it's like, I don't think it's going to be like a huge boost, but I mean, like, it's definitely not a bad thing.
I agree. I definitely agree. It's not a bad thing. I don't know if it plays a huge role, but with the vibes of the locker room and the team morale, I think it does a little bit. Hefe, what do you think?
I actually see it opposite. I think there's something to be said for last hurrah vibes. You know what I mean? Like if Drew Aller was out, declaring for NFL draft or transfer portal, whatever the hell he wanted to do, was definitely not declaring for the draft. That's for sure.
That's what it was. It was either the draft or.
Well,
or
I'll tell you one thing. There's a reason he's coming back because he declared, his agent said, "Why don't you turn your butt around and go right back there, buddy?" But all seriousness, I do think there's something to be said about last hurrah. Like, you know what I mean? It's the last time, guys. Let's not make it our last game. You know, one of those like Friday Night Lights, rah speeches. But I don't think it has a big effect on the game.
There we go. Let's keep it moving, fellas. Next game we're breaking down is going to be the Clemson Tigers taking on the Texas Longhorns. Clemson's coming in 10-3 on the year, taking on Texas that is 11-2. Guys, this could be Quinn Ewers' last game at Texas. I don't think he's going to return next year to Texas.
It will be.
I don't think he's going to the NFL either, because if he does, I don't think you're getting picked in the top 5-6 rounds. So I think he's going to be a transfer portal candidate. I do think he will go to another major program next year. Hefe, we haven't started with you yet. What do you like in Clemson, Texas? Big spread here.
It's comical that if you put all these teams at the beginning of the year, right, you put these 4 matchups up, you tell us this is going to be the college football playoff, the beginning of college football season, and you go, tell me which one of these spreads is going to be the smallest. Clemson, Texas, the one I would have taken in a heartbeat, right? Like, without a doubt. And here we are, game on Saturday, and it's the biggest spread, and it's not even close. SMU is second at +9. Obviously, a lot of this has to do with the fact that this game is in Texas, in Austin. So all these games are home games. Let's not forget that's why these spreads are so inflated. You're going to see closer spreads next round because of neutral sites. I just want to say something about Quinn Ewers. Have a hot take. I think he might be Ohio State's starting quarterback next year.
I could definitely see that.
But regardless of that, man, I just feel like this is just begging you to take Texas. It's just begging you to take Texas, and I don't want to do it because 12 is so much points, and no matter how the talent disparity is and how bad of a season Clemson had and their losses, at the end of the day, if Dabo Swinney's coaching that damn team, they are never taking their foot off the pedal. They are never going to concede to defeat, ever. Coaching matchup here is so strong. Sark's a great coach. Dabo's a great coach with a lot of accolades. This is a game, quite honestly, that I have no read on. My gut tells me 12 points is too much, and these two teams are talented, and Clemson will fight and make this close. Texas will win. I'm going to take Clemson +12. It's not one of my best bets. It's just how I'm reading this game from a flat-out numbers perspective. There is no reason this should be 12 points.
JD, geez, my voice went absolutely nowhere there. JD, what do you got?
Man, you like really broke that game down well here. I'm actually really on the same page. But big news here. It's gonna be sunny and 64.
That's compared to the other game. Absolutely.
Compared to other games, this is gonna be a wonderful game.
Right.
But no, for real here. Clemson is the team that, as everybody knows who's watched this show, I have only been going actually like against them.
Yep.
To me, Clemson is not a bet on team. I just don't think that they're that good. But just like Hefe said, as far as actually like Dabo goes, you just can't count him out. Like actually, he can still get this team up. And then Texas on the other side, it's a team that I have not backed this entire year, because I think that their value is just not. There just hasn't been any value actually on them. So in this game, I think it's the same thing here. But then the Clemson side, it's like, can I really back them? Like, I mean, there's like a difference between like just coming on a show and saying, yeah, give me Clemson plus 12. But like, am I going to put, actually like, am I going to go into my, actually like account here and put like, say Clemson plus 12 for, X amount of actually like dollars here. And I just can't do it. For me, I really think that this could be a fun game here. But for me, as far as from betting, it is a complete pass.
Yeah, and I hate to do that. I hate to say that, JD, but I feel the exact same way you do. You can't even put Texas in a parlay. Realistically, any parlay you add them to, there's no value. It makes no sense to do that. It's a bad bet.
It's the one game I would not. I would not just blindly add the favorite into a parlay. It's the one game I wouldn't.
And this is the one game. If Texas won this game 50-0, would you be surprised? I mean, a little bit, but like it wouldn't shock me. And if Clemson won this game 24-17, would that surprise anybody? Not really. So for me, I don't really have a clear read on this game. Clemson's one of those teams I haven't been able to get a read on all year long. I just haven't been able to figure them out. So for this one, as of now, I am going to be sitting off of it. Should be a good game, an entertaining game, but from a betting perspective, it's so sharp. Betting a 12-point line, unless you're taking the dog, is always tough. And taking this dog is even tougher. So for me, no action. So let's keep it moving right along. But I understand what Hefe's points and agree with a lot of what he said on this game. Just for me personally, too much drama with Texas this year. One
thing I'll say, this is one of those games, if you're a Clemson, you could back either way. Tell me you can't see either of these scenarios happening in the first quarter. Clemson's up 10-0, and you're like, oh my God, I have a 22 points to work with. Or Texas up 21-0, you're like, I'm turning this off. I'm putting on the Ravens Steelers.
Literally.
Either of those two scenarios can easily happen.
Exactly. That's why nothing would shock me either way.
That is the only way that I will get an actual bet down on actually this game. And I can see that because Clemson, the past few games here, they've somehow like started out fast. It has been a lot of like fluky shit, but still they have like gotten the job done. So if Clemson does happen to jump out here, if you can get the Texas, if you can get like, say like a money line of like the -150, I would actually probably jump in.
Yeah, Clemson would have to be up. We have to be up like freaking 14-0 in the first quarter, winding down first quarter, and Texas would have to be punting the ball back to them to get a money line like that. I don't think you'll see. I think the best thing you'll see is if you get Texas at anything under a field goal, 2.5, jump.
Wow, I agree. So more to come on that. We'll see what happens live. JD, if you decide to make that play, where is it going to be posted?
MoneyBall metrics.
Hefe, if JD decides to make that play, where is it going to be?
MoneyBall metrics.
Absolutely. JD, tell them how they can get in there.
You can go on our website. You can go on X. You can go on Twitter, whatever you want to call them. There are actually links everywhere there. Come and actually find us.
Come hang out with us, guys. You're going to enjoy being in the Discord. We can all promise you that.
I actually will have to say, like, as far as right now, like, as far as just actually, like, as far as the actual like Discord goes, we have a bunch of guys in there. Just as far as even like mods go, we have mods that actually like cap too. And actually, like, we have like one guy in there going completely
nuts. He's going nuts.
I know yesterday was like a 30 it was a 30 unit day, and in the past week, or actually like week and a half now, he's up like 170 units. Like, I mean, he is hot.
And all his picks are free in the Discord, guys. You can get in there and check him out. If you guys are an aspiring capper and want to see what you guys can do, get in the Discord. There's a general chat. You can give out your picks, and if you win, people are going to start tagging you and saying, what do you have? It's a great way to learn. It's a great community to be in. I cannot stress that enough. Also, before we go to the next game, fellas, David is here. David, where you been the last couple of days, bro? We haven't seen you this week. You are off to Europe. We hope you have a fantastic trip. Thank you for tuning in your last day in America, I'm assuming, so we appreciate you. Let's keep it moving, fellas. Next game we're going to be breaking down is going to be the Tennessee-Ohio State game. The last college football game of the first round we're going to be breaking down. This is the late night Saturday, 8 p.m. Eastern kickoff between the 9th-ranked Tennessee Volunteers and the 8th-ranked Ohio State Buckeyes. Guys, I'm going to start this with this. If Ohio State loses this game, Ryan Day will be fired before making it out of the stadium. Hefe, we all know you're a big watcher of Ohio State. You follow Ohio State very closely. What do you like about this game? What are you taking in this one?
I'll be very transparent. Last year, right after the college football championship was won, I placed some big futures on Ohio State for this year's championship. Especially because they were one of the first ones in the transfer portal to, if you remember, get Trayvon Henderson's coming back. Then they get the running back from Ole Miss. Emege Agubuga comes back. I mean, they were loaded with talent. And somehow Ryan Day still can't figure out how to freaking win a game. He drives me crazy. I've never seen a coach who's so obviously getting fired, and only one way to get fired is if he wins a national championship. I still have hope for them to win a national championship, but this is how I'm playing this game. I think Ohio State wins this game, but boy, do I think Tennessee makes it a game. I think this is, if you're a Tennessee backer, feel comfortable taking plus 7.5. I love that it's over 7, but I am going to take Ohio State here. I'm going to put them in a parlay on the money line with another team, one of the other 3 previous games we mentioned. I'll let that be known in the best bets, but that's how I'm playing this game. Ohio State's going to win this game. This is a home game for Ohio State. They're better than Tennessee. Ryan Day will figure out a way for Ohio State not to cover them.
Yep, I couldn't agree more. If they had any other coach, I'd probably be taking Ohio State by the spread, but they have Ryan Day. And at the end of the day,
on paper, Ohio State could win this game by 30 points.
100%.
They are way better than Tennessee. I love Tennessee's quarterback, Nico. I'm not even going to try to say his last name. He is, in my opinion, going to be a top 5 Heisman candidate next year. They need to build a little more around him because right now, that Tennessee offense is just literally 7 Jalen Hyatts. Everybody just runs straight and Nico tries to throws the ball at him. Ohio State's too good of a defense, too veteran of a defense to fall for that crap. They're going to win this game, but I can just see Ryan Day making some dumbass calls to let Tennessee cover. Sorry, I'm done.
No, I agree. And I agree to everything you said. You made some great points there, 100%. One thing I like to talk about on the show, JD, you know this, I say it almost every day, is I do like to look at the ESPN BPI. ESPN is giving Ohio State a 66% chance to win this game, and they're giving Tennessee a 34%. I'm a fan of Josh Heupel, the coach of Tennessee. So I lived in Florida years back, and he was the coach of UCF, and I had season tickets to UCF when they were that underdog team that continued to make some of those crazy runs. Josh Heupel's a guy who could pull off some big wins, though. He really is. He's the type of coach that has experience knocking off the big dogs. And going up against a coach against Ryan Day, who has experience losing as the big dog to some of these teams, does make me a little nervous. I'm going to play the Hefe card, where I also am taking Ohio State on the money line. I will let you know what team I am pairing them with in best bets for the parlay. But it will be one of the college football games we already talked about. I have a second play on one of those games, so we'll get into that in a little bit. JD, what you got?
Yeah, guys. Well, guess what? It's going to be really fucking cold again. Really fucking cold again.
We're going to change your name to the Weatherman.
Yeah.
Seriously.
JD the Weatherman.
Yep, definitely. Just like Alpha was starting to say there, as far as actually Heupel goes, he's a great coach. If you look at over his, from him with Tennessee, and actually back with UCF. I don't have it in actually in front of me, but his first half, he is a great first half coach.
Yeah.
His actual ATS number is just insane. And that's how I'm going to play this game here. Give me actually Tennessee in the first half. You can get a plus 4.5 here. And I just think during this first half that this is a low scoring game. And actually this first half just actually stays close. The second half is what I have no freaking clue. actually happens.
Yeah.
To me, this is either Tennessee wins or either gets blown out. Like, I don't think the spread is even really actually like a factor here. Like, I think you either just like, yeah, I actually really don't. I think either Tennessee finds a way to actually just pull off the upset win, or like I said, they just get blown out here.
Yep, definitely. I mean, I could see it happening for sure. This one is just with the coaching situation. I'm so hesitant to take a side on this game. That's why I do like the parlay. And JD rocking the Tennessee Volunteer orange today. Kind of had an idea maybe he would go that direction. But great read there from you. Great breakdown. I definitely agree with a lot of the points that you made. Fellas, we broke down the college football playoff first round. We're going to have to do that again after this weekend, but the show is not over. You guys ready to dive into the next game that we're covering on today's slate?
Always.
Let's get into it. We're going over to the NFL. As you guys already know, we've never missed a Thursday night football game, and we're not going to start now. So we're going to dive in to the Broncos at the Chargers. Broncos coming into this game 9-5 on the year. They're 4-3 on the road, taking on the Chargers, who are 8-6 on the year and 4-3 at home. Over to the injury report, as I always do. Going over the Broncos first, Riley Moss and Jaleel McLaughlin have already been ruled out. There's really nobody questionable. That is going to make a big-time game decision or a big difference in this one. On the other side for the Chargers, cornerback Cam Hart is out. Elijah Molden, their backup cornerback, is doubtful. So, to me, the Chargers secondary may be a little weak today. Those are the two big ones. As well as Denzel Perriman, one of their very strong linebackers, is a true questionable as well. So, several bodies on the Chargers defensive side we may not see tonight. JD, let's go over to you. What do you like in the Thursday night football? And also, before we go to JD, tonight's day one of the fantasy football semifinals. So good luck to everybody if you're in your fantasy football semifinals. It starts tonight, and that includes me. So I'm pumped up. JD, what do you?
We know. Let the cat out the bag. Alpha's got Cortland Sutton going.
Cortland Sutton's gonna have the biggest game of his life.
Which means that in 3 seconds you're gonna hear Alpha's Cortland Sutton ladder. We're going the overs on the receptions. We're going the 2+ touchdowns. Screw it, 4+ touchdowns. He's setting a record. Legacy game.
I may have a player prop in this game. I'll let it out later. JD, what do you think?
I'll let this one out right now. It's not Cortland Sutton under anything.
It's not.
All right. Well, let's start off with this. The Broncos, they are a great team. They are actually not a good team. They are a great team.
Really?
Why?
You're that adamant about that?
Why? Because they cover spreads.
Yeah, they do.
They cover spreads.
They do.
On the season, ATS, they are 11 and actually 3. Their last 10 games, they're actually 8 and 2. So no, they're not actually a great team, but you know,
great teams cover. Great teams cover.
Exactly. That's where I was going with that one. Okay, but as far as the Chargers, they've actually been good too, though. Besides their last couple games.
Get off my TV, Nick Saban. I apologize. He's always trying to cut into the show.
Come on, Nick.
Come on.
Yeah, the Chargers, they've been hurt the past actually 2 games, and it has shown. I mean, the Bucks just straight blew them out.
Yep.
And as far as this like number here, I can't get close to it. I have the Chargers favored, but it's by a very small, actually like a amount here, very small. I actually hopped on the Broncos at a +3. It's moved off of 2.5 at most books. You can still get a +3. It looks like at ESPN bet. But it does look like it has moved off of 3 pretty much everywhere else. This is just one of those where, the line to me I just can't get there. And the Chargers, like I said, they're dealing. One of their main guys I think that hurts them out is what's his name? Is it Hart? Is it Cam?
Yes. Yep. Hart.
I think for them that's a very, very big loss. And actually, like last week, it like definitely showed that.
Yep.
And this week I think we're going to see kind of like more of the same here.
What you're saying is the Broncos are going to have to pass the ball?
Yes.
Cortland Sutton.
Continue.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh yeah.
Continue.
As far as the best unit on the field tonight is probably gonna be the Broncos. Actually, like defense.
Yep, 100%, 100%.
So yeah, this to me, like I said, it just still the line to me. I just don't really understand it. So yeah, give me the Broncos at actually +3. If you can't get the +3, I would actually take them on the money line. It's like the best you can get there is that FanDuel at a +128.
Yep. Would you recommend buying the hook? So FanDuel right now has it at 2.5 for the Broncos. You can buy the hook for essentially 13, 14 cents and get it at a -120. Would you recommend doing that over the money line, or do you think the money line is safe?
If you can get it at that price, yes. Don't go buying to +3 and have to lay something higher than actually that, though.
I agree with you 1,000%, and that's exactly what I'm taking on this game as well. And I think that you kind of alluded to it early in your breakdown about the Bucs game last week. I think it's going to be a very similar approach tonight from the Broncos. The same guys who got hurt in the game last week are the ones who are not playing this week. So Elijah Molden, who's doubtful, Cam Hart, and Denzel Perriman were all injured in the game, and I do anticipate them to hurt because of that. And I think we're going to see a very similar style. Last week, we saw Mike Evans go off for about 9,000 yards and 900 touchdowns against this Chargers team. I don't think there was a single play they targeted him where they were able to stop him. And what was it? The second half was 27-0 Bucs in that game. That's when all the defenders of the Chargers got hurt. So they weren't playing in that second half. And that's the same unit we're going to see tonight. So JD, I'm lock and key with you, lock and step, whatever the hell you want to call it. +3 for the Broncos at a -120. I think we're definitely going to be able to cash it there. Hefe, you go. I'm not going to give out any player prop on this game.
The only thing I have here is actually a player prop. So, look, it's kind of been a weird season for the Chargers, right? Started off kind of hot. Now they're 1-3 in their last 4. Last 3 games, 17 points per game. Like literally, exactly 17. They scored 17, 17, and 17. Last 3 games. Meanwhile, Broncos, 4 wins in a row, playing really good football. Man, are the Broncos in a good situation. With that Russell Wilson contract coming off the books next year, they are getting a ton of money to spend. And they are 1 year ahead of schedule, in my opinion. One of the rare trades for a head coach that actually worked out. And I think they gave up a first for him.
Which is crazy.
At this point, like, I can't even say it was a bad deal. Like, look what's going on. But I read this article this morning, actually, in preparation for this segment. Justin Herbert, last 3 games, and I just mentioned to you, they scored 17 points in those last 3 games, has been wearing a certain kind of ankle brace. Well, went to a doctor, changed that brace out. New brace for tonight. Brand new. More mobility. More mobility means he can go outside the pocket. Going outside the pocket means he has more room to sling it. More room to sling it means Ladd McConkey, anytime touchdown, +155 odds. Bang.
Well, here, what would you think about doing maybe a little parlay? Because that is exactly the parlay for a player prop I was going to take. I know you only gave out 1 leg, but I was thinking about doing a Courtland Sutton anytime touchdown with Ladd McConkey, and that's not because Courtland Sutton's on my fantasy team. Okay, maybe it is. But also, he does have 5 touchdowns in his last 4. He has been putting up some big numbers.
Let's do some math. Let's do quick math.
It's plus 500. So I already had, that was the prop I was looking at earlier. So that's the one I was currently debating.
Christmas gifts.
It really does. So we'll give that out. It's not going to be an official play for me. I'm going to be on it. Just going to be honest. I'm going to be on Courtland Sutton in 9,000 ways tonight. Hefe was right. 2+ touchdowns, already got a ticket. Over 100 yards, already got a ticket. So I am going to be doing that, but the play that I do think is going to be the best would be a parlay with value of Ladd McConkey, because I do think McConkey will have a big game as well. I am a big fan of McConkey.
In all seriousness, I am going with Ladd McConkey anytime touchdown. He is not even close. Justin Herbert's favorite target. Justin Herbert has 16 passing touchdowns on the year. 5 of them are to Ladd. I don't see this being a no touchdown kind of ridiculous game like we saw last Thursday. If anybody remembers that snooze fest,
we all blocked it out of our brain. Every person blocked it out of their brain.
I know that these teams don't put up a lot of points, and the total is like what 41.5. Yep, points will be scored by both these teams. I think the total is still something to look at, but I can see this being a close game. I'll tell you exactly how I read it, and kind of JD kind of lined it out. Denver's such a good cover team. Boy, can I see Dicker the kicker at the buzzer. Chargers win by 1.
I would take that. So I'm definitely in agreement with you there. I think that this one will be close. And if this game ends by a field goal in either direction at the end of the game, the Broncos are going to cash if you have +3, unless you push on it. So you won't be losing if we do see Dicker trot out there and kick a game-winning field goal. You will be okay if you buy that half point. That's why I definitely recommend buying the half point. Boys, we've been doing this for a while today. We're pretty good being on here till 12:47 right now. Anyone have any other props in this game before we dive into best bets?
Nothing.
Well, then I guess everyone knows what we're going to be doing next. Or is it? Because first, we have to let you know about the Christmas sale for MoneyBall Metrics, guys. You can get into the Discord at the low rate of $39. You will be locked into that rate. That is the Christmas sale. You guys know when MoneyBall Metrics does a promotion, get in the Discord. You get all the VIP plays. You guys will absolutely love being in there with us. So get in the Discord. $39 is the Christmas special. Go to MoneyBall Metrics, Twitter, X, Bluebird, whatever the hell you call that app we all love. You will be able to find links to get in. So make sure you guys check that out. All right. Now, everyone knows what we're about to get into. I don't have to waste any more time. Excuse me, almost just choked. We're getting into best bets. Hefe, what do you got? Do you have 1? Do you have 2? Do you have 3? Do you have 96? How many best bets do you have for the people?
I got two. I'll do my straight up one first. SMU +9. I explained why I think Penn State wins this game, but I think the style of defense that SMU plays very well into the weather and the style of offense that Penn State's trying to play. I think SMU can cover this game. I see a back door. And then lastly, I've been talking about it all show long. I have my largest bet of the college football first round is a money line parlay. Ohio State and Notre Dame money lines, -120 odds. I know it's a minus money line and not a +1 parlay. But I gotta lay the juice on this one. I do not see these two teams losing. I think they both win, and it is going to be my largest bet of the weekend. Ohio State Notre Dame money line parlay.
There we go. Paging Dr. Hefe. All right, Footy, are you listening? I need to see in the comments that you're listening because I have a play you're going to love in my best bets. Quickly, I will go over my 2 straight plays for best bets. I'm taking the Penn State under 53.5. Like I said, I do think that will be a defensive battle that will stay low, especially with the weather. And the other play that I have in college football is going to be Indiana plus the 7.5. I love Indiana against Notre Dame. I think they will be able to keep it close and cover the touchdown and a half a hook point spread. And then to my parlay, which I said I also have a parlay. Footy, I told you it was here. I told you to tune in. Because I'm on Penn State on the money line as well. Not only am I on the under in that game, I'm also on Penn State to win outright, and I have parlayed that with Ohio State. You can currently get that parlay at a -115. It's definitely one of my favorite plays on here as well. It's not going to be on my best bets board, but I told you guys I did have a parlay for the slate. That is going to be the parlay. Penn State on the money line, parlayed with Ohio State on the money line. You can get that at a -115. JD, what do you have for the people?
Let me see here. We're going to have 2 today. Give me a Tennessee. Give me them in the first half at a +4.5 at a -115 currently. I just see this first half being a close game here. And then let's go to tonight's game. The Broncos. Give me them at +3. You can get that at a -120 odds. Still here. Yep. So I'm going to roll with actually those 2. And yeah, I was looking at the soccer bet and actually the chat there.
What was this?
Yeah, I'm actually probably going to roll on that one also.
All right. I'll tail with Footy as well. Never has anything ever gone wrong when I've tailed the Footy play. So I am in.
Never.
I am looking forward to it. The guy's never lost the bet. He's unbelievable. Let's go over to the comments a little bit more before we get out of here. BBB. Oh, wrong one. We got another comment, so it moved me off my list. BBB is giving out a player prop. Stone Smart, over 35.5 receiving yards. It's a cool name play. Everybody loves cool name plays. So thank you. We appreciate it.
What team is it play for?
That's a great question. Let me Google that.
Is he the tight end for the Chargers?
Yep. Great call.
Is he? Because Will Dissly is playing tonight.
Well,
he's off IR.
Nobody listened to BBB. Sorry, BBB. We're not listening to that play. Dissly is back. But we appreciate every single person for tuning in. JD, any final words for the people before we get the hell out of here?
No, man. Just the same words as usual, guys. Let's fucking win.
Let's fucking win. Hefe, any words of wisdom? Maybe some 1700s advice you want to give the people? I
Money
can't
line.
see it.
Money
I
line.
can't see it. I
Money
still
line.
can't even see it. I still
Money
can't even
line.
see it. I'm not
Money
kidding.
line.
Knicks.
Money line.
Knicks, there
Money
it is,
line.
Knicks.
Money line.
Okay.
Money line. Oh, it's Julius Randle's first game against the Knicks. Oh my God, don't give a fuck.
Wow.
Knicks
All
money
right, I'm
line.
in on the Knicks too. Let's go, Knicks.
Yeah.
One parting word for me. If you're watching the show, Jacob Fraudler, you're screwed. Get ready for Cam Sutton, Cortland Sutton, any kind of Sutton to have 8 touchdowns tonight. We'll be back tomorrow, guys. Same time, same place. We'll see you, like I said. Peace.